Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Max here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Victor, and he's selling his lead gen business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Victor. How are you doing today?
Doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Yeah, really good. It's good to have you on. Before we get into this, I'm going to give a brief summary of the business. So it's a lead gen business in the home niche created in April 2015. The average monthly revenue for the business is $1,891 and makes an average of $1,818 per month in net profit. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 48257 to learn more about the business. Included in the sale is 9 domains, 2 additional domains used as 301 redirects, social media accounts, supplier contracts and relationships, the buyer contracts and relationships, 2 Google My Business, and 9 phone numbers. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, Victor, could you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, sure. So I've been doing internet marketing since 2008, so going on about 12 years now. Started with SEO and e-commerce. Been doing SEO ever since. I own a SEO agency. Well, it's based out of LA. Now we're based out of Puerto Rico. I also built and sold a guest posting agency last year. I sold it. It was called SEOguestpost.com. So I have a lot of experience in link building and link outreach.
And how did you come up with the idea to start this particular business?
For this one, I started in 2015. I've been doing home improvement, lead generation, buying and selling since probably about 2013. Once I started doing buying and selling, I kind of realized what type of leads converted better. So what got me into this business is I kind of wanted to focus all the sites around emergency keywords, just because I found, and after listening to several calls in the home improvement niche, that those just convert a lot better. So for example, if someone needs someone right now, they're not going to really be shopping around, right? They're just going to typically convert with the first person who answers the phone, granted that they have a decent sales call. So that's the main reason why I started these Google websites.
And you mentioned it's a lead gen business, but how does this primarily make money?
This makes money, so it's pretty simple, right? Someone goes to Google, they type in their local keyword. So for example, Los Angeles home improvement, not to give away the niche. Once they come on the website, they call the number, and that number gets routed to the buyer of the leads. The buyer is a large affiliate network. It's called eLocal. I don't mind giving that away. So it does come with that a relationship too, because I do know that affiliate network, pay-per-call network is pretty hard to get into, but I know the president over there, so the agreement will transfer over seamlessly. So all I basically do is I rank the websites. Total hours of work for me a month is literally 0 because they send me all of the lead totals. All I have to do is just reply, yes, that's confirmed, and then I get paid. But I don't spend any time on the websites at all.
And why should someone choose this business model? What's so appealing about it?
So this business model is pretty good for a couple reasons. One, if you already are in the home improvement niche, and let's say you have some buyers within this vertical, you can easily increase the profits without doing anything, just simply switching over to that buyer. So let's say, we're getting a little bit lower payouts than average just because this particular buyer, eLocal, they have coverage across the whole US, but they have a little bit lower payouts. So for example, if you went with a direct buyer, or if you already have direct buyers, you could easily just double your payout, and their conversion rates will be a little bit higher because they don't have to go through this whole IVR process. So it's a pretty easy transition if you have buyers, or if you're at least good with your sales team. And there is a lot of opportunity to grow with these because, like I said, I haven't really worked on them in a while. I did a lot of guest posting, local citations, social fortresses around them when I started, but there's definitely a lot of opportunity to grow with these.
Where does the majority of your traffic come from?
100% SEO.
And so what do you currently do in terms of marketing? How do you get these sites out there?
So for the SEO, like I mentioned earlier, we started with social fortresses, basically social profiles. Then we started with local citations, and then we moved on to guest posting. And then I think 2015, we started with some Web 2.0s as well. But over the past couple of years, it's just been straight high quality guest post links that have been ranking the websites.
And are there any employees that work with you on this one?
No, it's just me. Like I said, the buyer sends me an email on the 5th of every month for the leads that were generated in the prior month. I just say, yes, that looks correct, or no, it doesn't look correct. I've never had to say no since I worked with them. And then on the 10th, they send me the payment. So there's no VA or no one else that I need working here. And then the only thing else that I pay for is the hosting and the call tracking numbers, which I have on auto pay. So I don't even waste time paying those. They just pay automatically.
The listing mentions that there's two sort of 301 redirects. Could you just give us a brief explanation as to why that is?
Yeah, sure. So the two redirects were the original websites that I started 2015. And then what had happened is I got those GMBs banned. The domains were completely clean, but the GMBs got suspended because they got flagged. They basically got reported by our competitors. So I started a new domain in order to get around that. Still in, I think it was 2016. So all the domains have been officially live, so to speak, for about 3 or 4 years. And I just redirected the original links over to the new domains.
The GMBs, the Google My Business, it's not something that we hear about a lot on this podcast. Could you sort of explain to our listeners what that is and why it's so beneficial?
Yeah, sure. So Google My Business it's also SEO, but it is basically showing your local business in what we like to call the map pack. So if you ever do a search for let's say Los Angeles electrician, you'll see the organic 10 results, you'll see the paid listings up top, and you'll see a little box that has a map with 3 additional listings next to it. For lead generation, especially home improvement, that's extremely powerful because those drive a lot of calls, and a lot of people, especially when they're looking for emergency services like these websites are set up with, they don't want to look at a website. They just want to, call. If they see good reviews on the GMB, they're just literally going to call straight from the search results.
Cool, got it. And I think that's done for 2 of your sites. So if a new buyer was to come in, maybe getting those set up on the other sites would be an opportunity?
That would be an easy win because the other websites have pretty good authority. With the new buyer, I'd probably give them some suggestions on how to name them, which would make them rank a little faster. But 100% that would be an easy win. We had GMBs for all of them, but unfortunately there was a massive cleanse in May 2019 or 2018. I think it was 2019. And if you're looking at the profit numbers, that was the drop off is when GMB just did that massive cleanse. So if you're able to open up new listings or you can get postcard verifications, which I can also teach you how to do, that's easy wins right there.
Why are you deciding to sell the business then instead of keeping it and growing it yourself?
For me, I'm mainly focused on other niches within lead gen, not within home improvement. And I'm also focusing on e-com. So these websites, I literally have not touched them in quite some time. I bought some guest posts for them in February. But other than that, they're just been neglected on me. And for me, I just feel like they're just sitting there. And I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for someone that actually has time to build out the SEO, maybe find some buyers that are getting higher payouts. But for me, unfortunately, it's just not what we're focusing on right now. So they're kind of just getting neglected with me having them.
And we've kind of gone into it there. But if you were to keep the business, what are some ways that you would try to grow it?
Like I said, I think the first thing that I would do if I had more time, I'd probably find another buyer if they have one, just because without touching the websites at all, just finding another buyer, you can probably add an extra $1,000 to $2,000. The only caveat about getting extra buyers versus, working with eLocal as the pay-per-call network is you now have to, kind of track down invoices. So that's the only downside, and that's the whole reason why I didn't do it, just because I don't have time to track down these different buyers in the different cities. But that would be, I'd say, low-hanging fruit number 1. Low-hanging fruit number 2 would be to get GMBs for all of the other websites that don't already have them. Very simple. I can teach you guys how to get them through postcard method with the buyer, not a problem. And then number 3 would just optimize them on page and maybe get some more links. I'd probably start with getting a blog on each website and then just making sure that the on page is optimized for all of the homepage and all the inner city pages.
What do you think some of the biggest risks associated with a business like this?
I can't think of too many. I've had these sites for 5 years. Before me buying links in February, I haven't touched them, even logged into them, probably a year before that. So they've withstand several Google updates. The link building has been only really guest posts, at least for the past 3 or 4 years. So I don't necessarily see too many risks, to be completely honest.
And if a buyer was to come in for this business, would you be willing to commit to a non-compete?
Sure, no problem.
And how much support are you offering to buyers? Is that sort of 30 days of email support and maybe a Skype call or two?
Yeah, whatever they need to get off the ground. Like I said, I don't even mind helping strategizing, like exactly what I kind of detailed in the call. So yeah, 30-day support, and I don't mind doing a Skype call or two if they really need it. Not a problem.
Cool. So something we like to do towards the end of this is maybe give some advice to people that are just getting started in online business. So is there sort of any advice that you would give to our listeners that you wish you knew when you first started building online businesses?
Just stick to one thing, right? If you're going to do lead gen, do lead gen. If you're going to do an agency, do an agency. If you're going to do e-com or Facebook, just stick to it. At least when I started out, I was kind of, I saw like this big shiny object in SEO and big shiny object in SEO agency and it's another shiny object in link building. So I would just say stay focused to whatever you commit to and you just, get ready to learn and get your feet wet. But as long as you stick to it, you should easily make some money online. And one other key thing is definitely get yourself a nice surrounding of people in the same industry. I would say that's the one thing that helped me grow faster than anything is going to conferences and meeting like-minded people, especially when you're in internet marketing. Typically most people are working at home all day in their room. Their family has no clue what the hell they're doing in the room. So getting a nice support circle of other people in the industry, I'd say that's very important.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Was there any software or tools that helped you with running this?
Everything's on WordPress. Call tracking is through Callfire. Other than the call tracking, nothing is really too sophisticated with this. And then me, having the access to guest post websites to buy links, I'd say maybe that's like the biggest advantage that I had. But other than that, nothing too sophisticated with these.
And the last two questions from me. Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think that this is a business worth buying?
I think this is a business worth buying because, one, even if you just leave it as is, it requires literally absolutely zero management other than, confirming that one email per month. Granted, you decide to stay with eLocal, and there is a lot of opportunity to grow. I'm sure if you see like the revenue charts from 2008, 2017, when we had the GMBs attached and different buyers, you can see how much these sites were generating back then. So I think it's a very hands-off business. If you know SEO and you know how to rank GMBs, I think this is an easy business that you guys can, I'd say, double your profits if you have the right strategy. At bare minimum within like a couple months.
And is there anything else you'd like to share that I might have missed?
About the websites, nothing else. I think we covered everything. Everything is like pretty self-managed, all the strategy and stuff. I think I listed everything pretty detailed. So no, I think we covered up everything pretty good.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, Max. I appreciate it.
Okay, everyone, thank you for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 48257. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business, and I'll see you in the next episode.